live. Chris Denman, Travis Terrell, good friend, personal confidant, Michael Kosta.
Hey, guys.
You know him from The Daily Show. He's at the Funny Bone all weekend long. You guys got to go out. I will be there at one of the shows Saturday. You don't know which one, so maybe buy tickets to both.
Yep.
Double up. Michael Kosta, welcome back to St. Louis, buddy.
Thanks, you guys. It's fun to be here.
New York
it's
hasn't
been a little
fattened
while.
you up? I like it.
New York has fattened me up, but you got to just work out harder.
Uh-huh.
As you get older, I don't know what you guys do, but you got to.
Oh, you can tell. I mean,
we are
I
in
can
see
charge
St.
of our
Louis.
bodies.
I don't know how it works for you, but if I choose to enjoy a meal, it hurts for like 2.5 days now. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do a burger and fry, and then it's like for 2 days, you know, I everything hurts. I'm 39.
I'm 34.
Yeah.
The opposite of that, Travis laughs because he's got this whole like sugar addiction thing going on.
Diabetes, the best. A+.
On the other side of that, when I eat healthy, I feel so good, and I
Yeah.
just beat myself up that I
Yeah.
haven't been eating healthy every day of my life for the last 5 years.
It is
right?
funny when you choose to go healthy, how you don't find yourself asleep 2 hours later. You're down, and it's like, why don't I
Screaming at
do
your
this?
significant
Yeah,
other,
why
like,
don't I do this? Sugar addiction is some real shit.
It's intense.
And it
joke.
activates the same part of the brain as like hard drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And they know
Absolutely.
this. They know this.
Not-
And they keep pushing it on us.
We're having a meeting with most of Travis's family later today on this very subject.
Is that right?
Oh, I think it's an intervention of some sort, but whatever.
Are you the one who's addicted to sugar?
I love sugar so goddamn much.
Yeah.
It is so everything.
Yeah.
And it's in everything. It's
oh, yeah.
literally in everything.
Yeah.
It's not fair, too, because of the genes that he pulls in. Like,
Sure.
really, he should be 640 pounds, like the way he eats. But I hold up enough for both of us.
I did. Roy Wood Jr., speaking of, and I went down to Florida to cover this. You know, they had to shut down a lot of their beaches this year because.
I was going to say great work.
Yeah,
great
thank you.
work.
Because of the East Coast has blue-green algae,
Right.
and the West Coast has red tide, but they're basically the same shit. Can I swear?
Yeah.
Which is the sugar plantations are making so much sugar in the center of the state, and all of their fertilizer and phosphorus they just dump into Lake Okeechobee, which then drains to the ocean, blooms the algae, kills all the animals,
What?
shut down the beach, can cause
I was in Florida
can
and this
cause
happened this past
cancer in
summer.
humans,
Yep.
has killed small dogs. All of this is happening. Florida, the Sunshine Beach state, and all I'm going is like, sugar's delicious, man. like they are literally, people won't go on the record and tell us it's sugar because the sugar lobby is so powerful.
Big
they will
Sugar
smear
is
you.
its own,
Big
yeah.
Sugar is like, it's the mafia. It is the mafia.
And it's Florida, and that's like not even the top 5 worst things about
Yeah,
Florida.
exactly.
You
It's
will
like-
see, and I'm sure you run into this with social media and being on The Daily Show and everything. You will see someone who is, I'm going to say 95% vegan. They make sure they walk only on biodegradable concrete, if that's a thing.
It is
and
a thing.
And they'll still be like, oh, Junior still get to cook.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
that's it. That's
Yeah,
all.
no.
And they wouldn't even think of feeding their kid like a piece of venison, which would be the
Yeah.
healthiest thing it can have.
Well, I always laugh at it because as you learn about all this stuff with Big Sugar, I'm like, they do all this so they can make sugar cheaper.
Right.
But I'm going, can you not shut the beaches down and I'll pay a little more for sugar? Like it's not like sugar is sugar wiping out our budget. It's gonna. It's probably they're probably like Uber. They're gonna make it real cheap in the beginning, and then slowly bring it up.
How quickly did it take you to adjust? I feel like your lifestyle has to change in New York. I feel like in order to keep up with that city, you have to absolutely basically adjust everything about your lifestyle.
For sure.
So how long did that take you? But you're an athlete, so I would imagine it wasn't that much of a change.
No, it's a huge change. So I think when I first met you guys and came here, I had just come. So I lived in New York for 2013 and 14 when I was on a sports show called Crowd Goes Wild on Fox
Travis's
Sports 1.
favorite Regis Philbin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Regis
my
Philbin,
friend Brandon Williams used to be on that.
There you
Brandon
go. Yeah,
Williams.
that's right.
Oh,
He used to guest on
another
there
Big Ten
sometimes.
guy.
Yeah, love that guy. So I had already dipped my toe in New York City for a year, right? And let me tell you what, that first dip, it it whooped the shit out of me. I went in. I had traveled the whole world.
But this is so you go Illinois to L.A. to New York.
Illinois
so there was a
to
softening period.
For sure. But what I was just gonna say is like I had traveled the world. You know, I have been everywhere. I played tennis. I've done comedy. I felt pretty confident that I could handle some shit.
Right.
And as soon as you show up to New York with even just a sliver of confidence, it's going to beat the shit out of you. Don't even, I'm not saying cocky. I'm saying believing that I could handle something.
Today's going to be a good day.
Yeah, no, it's not. Oh, you've been in 4 screaming arguments and it's 8:30 a.m. on a Tuesday already?
Non-relatives, too.
Non-relatives.
Just folks.
Oh, the locksmith? You almost just punched the locksmith that showed up because you locked yourself out because the doorman won't let you in. You know, like it is a fight. It is a fight. So my second time around in New York, which is now, much better.
Right.
I live in Brooklyn.
Budget,
I got out of
budget
Manhattan.
help with that, or is this your mindset? Because I'm assuming you're better off now than you were then.
Oh, well, I don't know how people do poor New York.
Right.
I don't. I mean, I've
4
fortunately.
roommates. I mean, yeah.
I've never had to do that because my first time there I was 35.
Yep.
I had a living wage, and then this time I'm 39. So people at the Daily Show office, there's food everywhere at the Daily Show office. They got breakfast, they got lunch, snacks, everything. I look over, all the like interns and the PAs are like 23, 24. They are just like bags, just pushing food into bags because they're taking
the
it
stars
home.
probably
dude.
don't even touch the food either.
Food, it's grocery shopping, and I'm always like, at first I was judging, like, why they keep taking all the blueberry muffins, and I'm like, I'd be doing the exact same thing. You don't have money. You don't have money.
Right.
I bought a beer once in the Lower East Side, which is where all these like 20-year-olds live. I put it down. I turn to talk to somebody. I come back. Some girl stole my beer.
Shut up.
Like they'll go to the bar and steal because there's no money. No one has any.
That's
no
the
one has any
thing.
money.
Some
But you got to have that social life.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I didn't know you could do that.
Again, I want to just remind everybody listening, go check out Michael. Funny Bone all weekend long. Follow him on Twitter at Michael Kosta.
Yeah.
Always very funny points of view on there. Always
Is
enjoy
it?
that.
Is it? Do I?
I like. See, maybe it's because I know you.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Look at Michael, really poking the bear.
I know, but I don't know what I gain. What do we gain from Twitter?
Oh.
What do we gain?
Yeah.
What
We
am I
acknowledge
gaining? I have a job. I love my job.
Right.
What am I? What? All I can do is lose on there.
Yeah, no,
lose my job,
yeah.
lose fans. Every time I tweet, I
May
go,
lose
"What?"
your family.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Lose that too.
I lost the Oscar hosting. They had me first. No, but it's like, what are we gaining?
I've tempted fate by I had a quick open and shut case, but it could have went bad.
Yeah.
A tryst with Black Twitter once, and I
you
shut
did.
it down,
Yeah,
and
you
I
got
won.
it.
It was
You got
I'm
it.
one.
you won? You beat
got
Black
it.
But I
Twitter?
will not. But now I won't ever go
He
back.
stopped. He just
I won't
stopped.
ever go back.
He just left. You just got to stop. See, I've been in Twitter 9 years in, and
Yeah.
now that you've asked that question the way that you just asked it, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if you're building something, I think there's rewards.
Sure.
But for me, a stand-up comic, my dream job was to get this job.
Right.
I would say it's built.
I'm not saying I'm done, but
Right.
it's like, this was like, as a kid, I used to lay on the floor and watch Craig Kilborn's The Daily Show.
Yeah.
It inspired me in so many ways. And so now I'm in this place. I love it. I get to work with these great people. And I'm tweeting about Serena Williams, at the U.S. Open, claiming I'm a mother, and I'm getting all like mail on it, and I'm going, "What are you gaining, bro? What are you? You're gonna send this out for what? For what?
Since you brought it up. Let's toss that out. I remember when this happened, and please finish your thought if I've cut this off. Travis, do you remember whenever? And I think The Voice is what crafted this whole thing, because we talked about it on the morning radio show
Right.
and everything. So I said, if McEnroe says, was it Venus or Serena? He said
Probably Serena.
Serena, that she's 700 S.
Right.
I was like, that's not an insult. Like
Right.
we're looking at 800 plus
864,
ranking in the,
yeah.
864
Nice.
ranking in the world.
Got that tatted
I
somewhere,
need
don't you?
I need an expert view, and I don't think I texted you or anything about it, but I need an expert point of view. Let's take away his energy, right?
Yeah.
It's McEnroe, so people go,
Sure.
this dick, like
Yeah.
that.
You're talking about the comment he made
The comment he made
Yeah.
saying,
when he was trying to sell books.
Right.
I always have to back
see,
that
and
up.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But then if we're going to just drill down on it,
Yeah.
where would you rank her And
Serena?
have you? So I've seen this in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
A 140-pound girl can choke the daylights out of a 200-pound man in the right situation with no punch, whatever.
Yeah.
So tennis.
Actually, that's interesting conversation about martial art. I mean, jiu-jitsu. I haven't thought about that. In tennis, I think what John McEnroe said, and it was I blame. Well, I don't blame anybody, I guess. I think he said that the 200th man in the world could beat Serena.
Right.
And I would stand by that wholeheartedly.
200th man in the world could beat the number 1 man in the world on the right day.
Correct. 100%. That does happen.
Right.
It's just not even a fair comparison, and I don't mean that. They're different games. They're different styles. It's not like I don't think that should be seen as an insult, you know. Right. But when I was 17 and I was training in Florida, I was ranked 44 in the country in the juniors. Okay, 44. I would train every day with Jennifer Capriati, who was ranked 8 in the world in WTA, and I could beat her. You know, and I was 17. So it's just different. John McEnroe, 1, was trying to sell books. 2, what we love about John McEnroe is he says the truth.
Right.
I think he spoke the truth.
Right.
What I get mad at Serena at, and this is why you're good at your job, because here I go. I fucking love Serena Williams.
Yeah.
Nobody hates to lose more than Serena Williams.
Oh,
right.
She goes insane. She would rather burn the place down than lose the match. And this is the same. Tom Brady's the same. You see when it's not going well, how he goes fucking insane. He starts screaming at his linemen, his coach. This is what makes champions. I love this about Serena, and this is why I've always supported her. She's the best thing for women's tennis. She was half raised in Saginaw, Michigan, half raised in Compton, California. You see why tennis hates her? Like she's the best for this. But when she starts saying, I'm a mother, you can't do this to me, I lost it. And I'm like, Serena, all I've done is defend you. I love you. I love you. But you know, hey, she shows the world how intense and competitive it is on court.
Right.
And that's what I love about her. And yes, sometimes it doesn't always work. And she's got to stop choking. Like, she is so much better than these chicks she loses to all the time.
Is she losing interest? I'm not saying she loses. Yeah. Like you just said, she's very competitive, but I feel like she's at the point in her life where
a hungry 23-year-old there's nothing compared to a hungry 20, as compared to somebody who's like, I have millions of dollars. I got to worry about.
And
I
she got sick. She got sick when she gave birth, and it's like, you get introduced to life after tennis.
Yeah,
I love watching Serena, but I prefer the men's game because that's what I know and I can relate to the most. But Serena is like, you couldn't have designed a better tennis athlete to piss off the tennis world more than Serena Williams.
Well, and how about how odd that Tiger Woods and the Williams sisters came at the same time.
That's true.
Turned to country club sports on their heads with just
white as shit sports. That's what the
word
you're
trying to say.
That's what I was looking for. I was having some respect for the great
Arthur.
That's
a nice way to say white as hell. Country club.
But weirdly, and I'm just going off of memory now, I feel like when Tiger came on the scene, and again, this could be wrong, he was embraced. When Serena and Venus came on, it was like, who the fuck are they? We don't necessarily want this. Remember the braids and the hair? I don't. But didn't golf embrace Tiger or no? I don't know.
No,
I think so because you had a soft barrier to entry. And listen, he said, "I'm at Stanford, y'all."
Right.
It started there. So Stanford at the time, you think. Maybe it was before him, but the Mark Madsons of the world playing college basketball. Was he at Stanford?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think maybe
he's also white and Asian.
Yeah, that helps.
Maybe that helps. How much does race play into it? Maybe a lot. Probably a lot.
Are you the most athletic person on the show, by the way?
Daily Show? Yeah,
I mean,
has to be.
Trevor would probably,
Trevor can do what?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say is like he may have to say something about that, but
really,
but we haven't gone toe to toe.
Okay,
tennis,
athletic. Well, tennis, no question.
I was like, come on, man.
There's no question. Tennis. I mean, they can barely even hold a racket. But
maybe basketball, baseball.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, Ronnie does jujitsu. I don't know if you talked to Ronnie about jujitsu. Roy, I'm not really sure what Roy does athletically.
That was really
nice. I'm not really sure what Roy does athletically.
That's
the tweet we sent out later today.
You'll catch a sneaky guy who's like, again, I haven't always been this weight, right? Maybe at some point, Roy was rocking and rolling in the athletics. I doubt it, but maybe.
Yeah. I mean, there are these flags that have our pictures on them in front of the studio, and they all have like a little phrase under them.
Right.
For each of us, mine just says "I'm white," but which makes me laugh.
I love that. That's great. Oh,
I'm like,
oh, look,
yeah, I'm white. Yeah, but Roy's,
couldn't agree more.
Yeah, Roy's is great. It says athletic-ish. Yeah, I don't. Look. I started playing tennis when I was 4. I started doing comedy when I was 27. So I've been sport was the first 20 years of my life.
Right.
It's like what I did every single day. So I don't see anybody at the Daily Show being more athletic than me.
Do you get this a lot? Look, I'm not going to pretend like I know comedy culture in New York, but I'm curious. Being on the Daily Show, is there a weird stigma around that? Do other comedians get weird when you go to comedy clubs? How have the comedy community in New York treated you now that you've been on the Daily Show for a few years now?
It's definitely helped get my foot in the door,
right?
Without question, and I'm very thankful for that because I feel like I want as much stage time as I can get,
of course,
and so that helps. I will say this about New York, and this is good and bad about New York. They don't give New York doesn't give a fuck about you.
Right.
You're having an off night. You're not going to get the cushion laugh.
Exactly.
On the Daily Show.
And that is harder at the beginning because I'm like, hey guys, I'm an established stand-up. I've been in LA and I'm on a TV show, and they're like, we don't give a fuck. You got to come up the system just like everybody else.
Right.
Now that's good for when I get through the system.
Right. Because
then I'm like, oh, they really they treat everybody the same in that regard, which is like shit. But so I'm really a 2-year as far as my experience in New York comedy. I'm at 2 years.
Okay.
I'm very lucky. I got in all the clubs and I'm performing, but I don't have the same community and friendships there that I was able to build in LA over 11 years.
Right.
I'm working on it. But New York is unimpressed with everything. That's why the best come out of there.
Right.
It's like Trevor Price, my football friend, used to say, iron sharpens iron. When you come out of New York, you are fucking, you can take anything. And so I'm definitely in the weeds in New York, getting tough and that's how you get good.
Say you started comedy, like you cut out the tennis, college, maybe you dabble a little bit. We'll paint this alternate world where you bumped up to Chicago and you get 3 years under your belt, right? That's a good comedy
in Chicago.
City. Yeah. Are you going to L.A. or New York, knowing what you know now with no background, other than like a Chicago 3 years?
I'm really happy with what my decision was, which was L.A.
Yeah.
I thought very long and hard about that at the time.
Well, you're different though. You have options that a lot of stand-ups aren't going to. You're a great host. You can
Thank you.
front a show like a Daily Show.
Also,
you could do news. Like
you could do
several. Yeah.
I thought of it also. One thing that as I've talked with comics, I'm very fortunate about because I had an athletic scholarship. I'm not in debt. So many of these comics are in fucking debt. It's not their fault. Like debt cripples the young working people in this country. Cripples us. What we do to our college students is an atrocity.
Yes.
You go to Canada and Australia, other countries, and the government the tuition is so cheap that when you get out of college with your degree, you can choose something you're passionate about, not something that'll just help you cover your debt.
Right.
So anyways, I didn't have debt. I was freezing my ass off in Michigan, and I said, I'm going to eat shit wherever I go next because that's what you do. Let's go eat shit in the sunshine, LA. So that's what I chose, and I'm happy I did. I'm happy I did. But I've also had to move to New York twice because of that.
Right.
There's no path.
Right.
There's no path. Not. Just find a passion, go for it, and be willing to suck a few cocks on the way, and you can make it.
Somebody watch the Fire Festival.
Yes. Yeah.
We asked Roy about this, and especially now. And I would imagine during Jon Stewart's tenure, he had moments like this. But it feels like now with where we are now in this country with this president that you guys have to be on your shit on the hour, every hour of the entire day. How has that adjustment been for you guys being writers? And even though I know Roy mentioned that you guys something broke almost 30 minutes before you start shooting, and everybody had to ultimately rewrite everything that you had seen. So how difficult has it been being a comedian on the Daily Show in the Trump era?
Yeah, it's both, right? I mean,
probably pretty inspiring.
I mean, it's both. Yeah, like
Right.
you watch an Obama speech right now, and it is like being read a bedtime story.
Right.
He was boring to the point that he, it was nice. He didn't piss people off.
Right.
This president tweets, and it's like serotonin gets in your brain, and it creates comedy.
Right.
So we jokingly are thankful for President Trump, even though nobody in that office voted for him.
Was it South Carolina you did the piece in?
Space Force, maybe. Yeah, was it
Yes.
Space Force?
Yes.
Yeah.
I see, I see all these clips.
Yeah, these clips.
Oh my god.
Because the Daily Show's daily,
Right.
you got to be willing to adjust, and I think that's one thing that makes you really good as the correspondents, and why so many good correspondents come out.
Right.
Is it's like you have a plan, you have something written that's funny, you rehearsed it, and then it's like, oh wait, something new happened. You got to go make that funny now.
Right.
And so there's times where you'll be in the show all day. You're texting your mom, hey, watch the show, I'm on tonight. And then Trump tweets something and you're cut and they bring someone else in. And you can't be sad about that. You can't be a bitch about that.
Right.
That's where it's also good. It's in New York. It's
Right.
like, oh, your train got canceled? Well, fucking you're a man. Solve the problem. It's like, Ubers are 6,000% surging? Well, fucking walk. I mean, I think we all have a little Trump fatigue.
Oh yeah.
But settle in, everybody, because it may happen again.
Right.
It may happen again.
I would bet that it might.
And that message is brought to you coming from Missouri.
Michael Kosta at the Funny Bone all weekend long. Highly recommend going to see him. Very funny on stage. You'll truly enjoy him. Follow him. Watch The Daily Show. I've got one more, Travis. I don't know what you got. So you're at what most people would call a pinnacle. You could ride out your career on The Daily Show, do stand up, and be a monster at what you want to do. What do you want to?
Nice.
What do you want to do next time we talk to you? Like, say it's another couple years.
It's a good question. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, you're never. It was like in tennis. When I always was like, okay, once I get to 1,000 in the world, I can just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
And then go all right, I can at least put something on my fucking tombstone.
Right.
As soon as you get to 1,000 in the world, you're like, that guy who's 800 isn't that fucking good. I know, what? Why did I want to get to 1,000?
Right.
That's exactly what it is. But that's also life. I think that's just, if you're a evolving human,
Right.
you're always looking forward. I mean, I am still in what I call comedy PhD program right now, which is the Daily Show.
Yeah.
I am learning something every day. I'm challenged every day. I get angry every day. I feel gracious every day about the whole process. But doing what Trevor does every day is very fucking hard. You got to be charming, professional, funny, endure so much. There's the hatred online is insane.
Right.
I would love to be thrown into that at some point in some capacity.
Okay.
But I don't think I'm ready yet for that. It is tough. I mean, he also came in after Jon Stewart, which, by the way, impossible. How do you like, everyone was mad at him for something he can't even control.
He can control.
What do you want him to do? Not take the opportunity? Come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on. So I'm learning so much right now, but at the end of the day, I'd love the opportunity to share my points of view on everything. But maybe someday that'll happen.
But if I can say, that's a testament to the correspondence, to Trevor, to everyone over there.
Yeah.
That was, I would imagine, a very unusual, to say the least, transition for everyone. And
Sure.
to see that you guys have made it your own is incredibly impressive. So I do want to congratulate you guys on the work you've done since.
I got to say it too, and I feel like it's so great that we're lucky to get to talk to all these Daily Show people. We haven't even mentioned, what about the blistering heat from Michelle Wolf?
Yeah.
What about that? What a weird thing. And to see her, and by no means is shit, but to see her skyrocket with all that, the Netflix thing comes out, that goes away. She's still there. She's rocking on the stand-up scene. What an interesting world to be a part of, right?
It was funny how everybody got mad at her for doing the job that they hired her to do.
That was the most confusing thing. I'm
know.
like, aren't you the guys saying people are pussies? What? It's strange.
Trevor always says this. Because when he got the job, there was all this, well, why didn't you hire Chris Rock? Why didn't you hire Amy Schumer? And he always says, do you guys all think that you're the first choice? Trevor says, I know I wasn't the first choice,
Right.
but I'm going to take the opportunity. And it's always a good thing to remember, like especially in show business.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, you got the offer? You think you're the first email that came in? No, dude. A lot of people said no first. Like, but like you know, that's okay.
Right.
Like, you know, don't be all. It's okay. And he's done a great job at a difficult situation. And now at this point, 100%, the show is his point of view.
Right,
Initially, I think there was a lot of Jon Stewart left over, but it's fun, man. It's fun, and it's also fun that I get to step out of it for a weekend and come back and do stand up. And,
Right.
At the St. Louis Funny Bone.
Of course.
Westport Plaza
Yeah,
all
there we
weekend.
go. Booyah.
I almost blew it. We did have a producer question. Who's your favorite professional tennis player of all time, and why is it Boris Becker?
I feel like you always bring up Boris Becker. Do you follow him on Instagram?
I don't, but our producer, Chris, needed to ask that.
One of the worst Instagrams that exists is Boris Becker. It is. You know those follows that it's like, what is he? It's like something's in German, and then there's like an inspirational quote in English, and then there's like a picture, like.
I love that he knows that.
Oh, dude, because I'm
so good.
You know that sad that soccer player just the airplane crashed.
Airplane just crashed. Yeah, recently.
But like even Boris Becker's post about that was like weirdly. I'm sure it wasn't meant to be sarcastic, but it just didn't work.
It didn't.
But if you know any Germans, usually when they switch over to English, it doesn't work. You know, it's like So I highly recommend following Boris Becker on Instagram. My favorite tennis player of all time was the handsome Swede, Stefan Edberg.
Nice.
Who, I mean, you talk
Still
about
makes me shiver.
You talk about tight shorts.
Yes.
If you Google image Stefan Edberg, first of all, they named the sportsmanship trophy after him because he won it 10 years in a row, and they just go, let's just call it the Stefan Edberg Sportsmanship Trophy. This guy, you got to get low when you come to net. When you come to net, you got to get low.
Okay.
This guy is straight taking a shit when he comes to net. I mean, so low. So I'm a Stefan Edberg fan.
That'll do it, Travis.
That's it.
Michael
There you go.
Kosta,
guys.
all weekend at the Funny Bone. Always a pleasure, man.
Thank you, guys.
We are live, live, live. We are live.